All right guys, we're making tuna tartare today. What ingredients are we using? We have tuna. I bought this already cubed up. I'm gonna cut it a little bit smaller. Buy fresh tuna from the fishmonger. This was frozen tuna. It's still good quality, #1 tuna, already cubed up. It's for poke, but what I'm gonna do is just cut it up a little bit smaller. So buy some nice fresh tuna. I have soy sauce. Use any soy sauce you want. This is fancy matsutake soy sauce. You don't need to use that. Just use regular soy sauce. I have some anchovy. Well, basically this is fish sauce, right? So you could use red boat fish sauce. This is called colatura, it's Italian fish sauce, optional. Olive oil, your favorite olive oil, a little bit of sesame oil. We have some Dijon mustard, shallots, capers. You need citrus, so I'm using key limes because I'm down here in that tropical region. But use whatever citrus you want. You can use Meyer lemons, you could use regular lemons. It needs to be a little bit sour. You could use regular limes. Any citrus will work just fine, but it needs to be a little bit sour. You could use calamansi if you're in the Philippines, or you could use yuzu if you're in Japan, whatever you want. Lemon, lime, just use that. Green, cilantro. I'm soaking this in water. I want this to be nice and clean, and I want it to plump up. And I also have a little bit of scallion. So I usually like chive. I couldn't find any today, but what I'm gonna use is just cilantro and scallion. It's gonna be great. And I throw in a little bit of avocado, right? Now let's get to preparation. I'm gonna cube up my tuna. The nicer, neater chunks that you can cut it in, the better it looks. I'm gonna mince up some shallot, as fine as possible. It doesn't have to be perfect cubes. You just want it to be nice and fine. All these things you want to be nice and fine. Scallions, slice as thin as possible. The secret is gonna be just slicing as thin as possible and making it look as nice as possible. And it's gonna taste delicious. Now for the cilantro, I soaked it in water. A lot of dirt came off. I'm just gonna dry it really quick. I don't want any of that water in my tuna. And I'm just gonna pick some of the leaves and put them in. I don't like chopping cilantro, it gets kind of slimy and gross. So I'm just gonna pick the leaves. For the capers, I'm just gonna do a rough chop. Now with everything, I'm just doing small amounts. So Dijon, I'm doing like half a teaspoon of Dijon. Olive oil, I'm doing like a teaspoon of olive oil. It's gonna be very little of everything. There's so many ingredients, if you do too much of one thing, it's gonna be overpowering. Now this soy sauce is very low sodium, so I'm going a little heavy. With regular dark soy sauce, do like half a teaspoon. With this matsutake shoyu, I'm doing like a teaspoon or so. Sesame oil, like an eighth of a teaspoon, like something very, very little. You want barely any. Just enough to know that it's there and to have nice little flavor. And at this point, I'm gonna throw it in the fridge, let it chill. So now we're gonna fry up some shallots. For shallots, what I like to do is slice them thin on the mandolin and then get your oil medium low and just throw them in right when they start to bubble. You don't want it to be very, very hot. You want it to be like 300 degrees and just let it come up to temperature, medium flame. Once the bubbles subside, drain them and you're good. Now for the avocado, I did this last minute because if you do it before, they will turn brown. So what I'm gonna do is just scoop it out, do a fine little cut one way, rotate, cube it up, throw it in, do as much or as little as you want. You can even do avocado, just mix it with a little lime juice and put it underneath the tartare so it doesn't mix in. But for me, I don't really care. I like to eat it all together. I think it all tastes really good together. And then I'm gonna do key lime, my citrus. I'm doing 2 key limes because I don't have very much tartare. But you want to balance out all that salt and all those salty ingredients, right? So once you add the lime, it's gonna turn the tuna brown. It's gonna start to cook it, turn it into ceviche. So I do my avocado and my citrus very last minute. I do the other ingredients, you can do it like 10, 15 minutes ahead of time. And now the best part is to mix it all together. So the reason why you would do avocado separately is because sometimes that avocado makes the tuna kind of turn white. You can see that it's coming off, like it's hard to explain, but part of the avocado just kind of mixes in with the tuna. But I don't mind, I think it tastes good. But if you leave the avocado separately, that tuna will stay very, very red. But for me, it doesn't matter. And now what I'm doing is I'm just putting it on a fancy plate in a ring mold. And then I'm just gonna top it with a bunch of stuff, but you don't have to do this. You can put it in a bowl and just eat it with potato chips or toasted bread or crostini, whatever you wanna do. I'm just kinda doing it just a little fancy, but completely unnecessary.
So I'm adding some of those crispy fried crunchy shallots. Then I'm gonna add a little more cilantro. I added some olive oil. I'm gonna add some, this is black garlic shoyu. Add whatever you want or just keep it plain. It's a wonderful recipe. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.